My next guest is artist Lisa A. Tishman. She creates healing art for children and adults through meditative coloring books, greeting cards, interior scapes, and jewelry from a lifelong passion of design, spiritual learning, and spiritual teachings. She has a master's in art education from Florida International University and applied her talents teaching art to elementary age students. During her teaching, she discovered that her positive encouragement created magical works of art and that art is truly healing for children and adults. Tonight, Lisa is going to talk about how a coloring book is used as a tool and becomes stress-free in 5 minutes. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, before we get into the topic tonight, tell us, how did color evolve?
Well, coloring and color has been through the centuries. One of the things I talk about at my workshops, Cleopatra had her slaves boil 20,000 purpura snails so she could get 1 ounce of purple dye. So it was taken from dirt, different colors, rocks. So color comes from all different ways. We have 3 receptors in each eye, and each color has a certain absorption level. So that's how we see color, and everyone sees color a little differently.
Okay, well, I know that we can all relate coloring in our childhood years, and also we seasoned with our children and grandchildren. So how does childhood experience affect our love of coloring and helps us bond with each other?
Very good question. When we're younger and we're in the schools we're coloring and teachers are giving us a chance to really relax, unwind. Coloring was always a relaxing, fun activity. Even today, it's an amazing bonding experience. If you're a grandparent, you can color with your grandkids, mother, daughters. Growing up with my son, I would color with him, and it just was a really great way for us to share time. And when you're coloring, you're moving into the now, which is no fear in the now. So it brings you to the now. And that's why it's so effective, because there's no fear in the now, and the stress can make you crazy. So it's really important to return to the now where you can see things clearly, much more clearly.
Yes, well, I can remember those days very well with my children, so it was a lot of fun, too, you know.
It still is.
It is, too.
Right.
And then you go to color by numbers.
Yeah, that works. That works, too.
I'm curious, how did the concept develop that you got into creating coloring books as a tool to de-stress and in just 5 minutes? I'm curious to learn that.
Well, when I attended Rhode Island School of Design, I studied textile design, which is pattern, wallpaper, upholstery, fabric. I love the repeat, the way that the shapes work together, so I do carry that into the work I do today. And I've always used and wanted to use my art as a healing tool. And I've discovered that art for me was always healing, and it made me just feel so much better and grounded. So I said, well, what can I do that I can share this with other people? And I always wanted to make coloring books. I don't know, I just love that thought, the little black outline, and you're all set. And so I created a coloring book, and I researched that coloring is a moving meditation, which walking, knitting, these are all ways you can reach meditation, and awareness is what meditation means. So it was really creating these coloring books and knowing they're not just coloring books. They're not coloring books per se as we know of coloring books. These coloring books are a tool that I chose to use to bring people to de-stress and to find peace, to find answers. There's a thought on this side and a design on this side. There's journaling pages in the back. So coloring is not coloring book. That's not my competition per se. It is a healing process that I'm exposing and showing people how to do that through my workshops and other events that I have.
So how do we distress in 5 minutes?
Well, when you start coloring, the repetitive movement brings you to the now. Anything repetitive, that's why walking is a way to find a healing. How many times you've been walking and you come up with the great idea, or knitting, anything you repeat, and the coloring. And with the coloring, it's not the end image. With coloring, it's the journey of coloring, and I stress going very slow, methodical. You're not going to finish the whole page at once. I keep one right next to me on my desk. I had a social obligation on my husband's side, and I just kept coloring, and within 5 minutes, I was just in a loving, secure place, and then I could continue to interact with people in a loving way. Or it's like when you're so stressed and your kids are getting on your nerves, well, before you ruin your relationship with your child, I'm saying take 5 minutes for yourself to sit down and color, and your whole outlook will change. You'll realize that your children are more important than anything that could be work-related or family-related.
How do we convince our viewers out there that coloring is the magic to distressing? Because we learn about all different ways of distressing through breathing, through exercise.
Absolutely.
So how do we encourage our viewers to do that?
Well, that's a very good question. And first of all, I think you try it. It's a very strong medicinal purpose. A lot of people turn to Xanax or to drinking or other ways to really get that center and that peace. As we know, it's expensive, and that doesn't work in the end result anyway. So if you can just sit and color wherever you can get a coloring book, then it's just really important to try it. For $10, $20 of my coloring books, it's worthwhile to try it and see that the magic happens. The other thing about my coloring books is they do lie flat. It's easy to work on a book when it's flat. It's thick paper. You can paint on it.
Yes.
You can use any medium. I love colored pencils, but people love markers. You can use whatever you want. And then the 5-minute De-Stressor kit is the book, comes with colored pencils, a sharpener, because not everybody is familiar with going out and picking their favorite, material to use. So it's a built-in gift all ready to go.
I see you have this little color wheel. What is this?
Oh, yes. This is from Rhode Island School of Design, not giving my age away, but in 1666, Isaac Newton developed this concept, and it's the color wheel. Primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Secondary colors, orange, green, and purple. And what they do when they connect and they join together. And this is just a real in-depth color wheel that tells you colors you can blend together to get other colors. And like I often do in my coloring pages is I put, a shading. If it's a flower, I try to put shading in there to make it. And it's just that repetitive motion that's going to bring you to the now. And so besides being just a fun coloring, something we did in childhood, the purpose of this is to help you heal like it helped me heal. And that's my purpose, my passion, is to continue making products of art that do heal in any way.
Yeah.
So
I would say that this would be very beneficial for nursing homes, self-assisted living homes.
Yes. In fact, one of the things is I want to get involved with the caregivers.
Right.
It's the caregivers that are under this stress and this pressure, and it's a real heavy burden, and it's sad emotionally if it's your own parents. So I do have a book that deals with people that are the caregivers. It's a bigger book, and there's no affirmations, thoughts. So it just is. I have the Bully book, coloring book and journal, where I work with the Sheriff's Department, and we do coloring as an activity for healing with them. So the Bully book is, I have Children's Peace Coalition. I formed after my niece was bullied. So it's very near and dear to my heart to help in that any way I can.
Well, there is a lot of bullying going around in today's age. So,
Yeah.
can we elaborate a little bit more about the bullying coloring book?
Okay. Well, I would have brought one, but I didn't.
That's
but,
okay.
Yeah.
We just need to know about it.
The bully coloring book stresses that we need to have compassion for the bullies because they're the ones that truly suffer. And when I say a bully, I'm just talking about one aspect of a child's personality that statistically learn it at home, tremendous abuse. So I have Bo Butterfly as the butterfly, and Bo Butterfly is your guide as you color through the book, and that you recognize that the bully person is in severe pain, severe home life could be terrible sibling bullying going out there. So it really is a matter of spreading the word and working with as many kids and in many, ways. That's why I formed a coalition, the Children's Peace Coalition.
Well, that is very, very beneficial for sure,
Thank you.
With all the tragic things that we hear from the bullying.
Sure.
Okay, well, tell everyone how they can contact you.
Okay. My website is www.healingartsandmeditation, that's A-N-D, meditation.com. My Facebook is facebook.com/Lisa Tishman, Tishman, and my email is ltishman@gmail.com.
So you do workshops. I'm looking forward to attending some of your workshops. So please contact Lisa, because I'm sure that it's an eye-opening and awareness to how to color through
stress
and
and de-stress.
And we understand that well.
5 minutes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Lisa. It was such a pleasure having you here today.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Same with you.